Okay, thank you. I do have a note here. We have a question from Assemblyman Auth.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. I do have a couple of questions. I wanted to speak with Michelle. She was very articulate and went through quite a litany of concerns on behalf of her group, and I would say just the business community in New Jersey in general. I wanted to discuss with her the impact on restaurants, if she could tell me, or maybe Mr. Bracken could tell me. When the governor had mentioned he was going to open restaurants for indoor dining, the restaurants then ordered in anticipation of that, and then he backpedaled and changed his mind. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Discuss with us the financial impact, discuss with us what New Jersey may do to help those restaurants that took a financial hit. I'd be interested to know.
Thank you, Assemblyman. And I do want to note that Mary Lou Halverson is on the deck to speak, and she heads the restaurant association. So she'd have the best statistics on that. But I do want to share that absolutely, we know that business owners dipped into their own personal savings in order to go and ramp up for what was a holiday weekend. The opportunity to open, you have to order food and you have to order liquor and you have to get your staff back and trained. And so people went into their personal pockets to do that. I heard stories $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on a personal credit card just to get the food in. And then think about, now you're told, no, well, food spoils, right? Maybe you could put the liquor in a liquor cabinet, but I would hope that a lot of the food was donated to places that it could be used, which I heard it was, okay? But not the point. You can't make that up for a business owner who was already on hard times and now dipped into their own personal pocket to the tune of, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. So yes, we also heard in and around Atlantic City stories of, this may sound a little bit, I think it's a little levity to a difficult situation. But if you could picture an entire boat of lobsters that were on their way for lobster dinners in Atlantic City that had to be diverted somewhere else, right? Now think of the cost and expense related to that. I said, hey, I'm in CI, I'll send those lobsters down to me. But the economic pain, and Assemblyman, I just want to say, this isn't just about dollars and cents. And some folks continue to say economics is just about the money. These are people's livelihoods, okay? Economic pain is personal pain. We have people who can't put food on the table for their families anymore. We have multi-generational family-run businesses who are down and out now and cannot come back. This is real. This isn't just about driving profit. This is about just making ends meet and holding on for dear life. That's where this business community is right now.
Assemblyman, this is Tom Bracken. Yeah, I just add to what Michelle said. Totally agree with what Michelle said. The other aspect of this is not only was it a financial impact on these people, but the psychological impact of dealing with something where they were given something that was not cast in concrete, but the governor allowed. And businesses rely on certainty. When they're told something, they take that as certainty and they apply that to their business. Then this certainty was ripped out from under them. So not only was the economic pain real, but the psychological pain of what just happened to me, my leader who is guiding me through this has now just done a U-turn on me. The confidence in my leader is now diminished. It had a lot of psychological pain, and also I think cast a pretty bad shadow on the governor from a leadership standpoint.
Thank you. May I follow up with another quick question, Chairman?
Yes, Bob.
Thank you so much. I've noticed that while we've been trying to open certain businesses and we keep seeing incrementally more and more businesses being allowed to open, specifically health clubs and gyms have been excluded. Now, I understand that early on with the COVID situation, there were some gyms that were contesting the governor's orders. They had some police there and everything else. They ultimately wound up getting tickets and fines, and it became rather punitive, to be honest with you. I'm looking at this now almost as if the governor has gotten to the point where he's just being vindictive about the gyms, because I see in New York Governor Cuomo is anticipating opening up the gyms at a 50% occupancy level. Yet New Jersey, because some people had the temerity to stand up to the governor and basically thumb their nose at him and discredit his leadership, unlike one of the other witnesses mentioned he had great leadership. Well, they contested that. They discredited his leadership and contested it. Now we find that these gyms aren't being opened. So if he's upset with one group of people who are confronting him, the rest of the gym owners in the state are now suffering for this vindictiveness. Do you have any opinion on that? I don't understand it. I'm confused.
So, Assemblyman, I would like to just put the industry in perspective as well. Health and fitness centers, you know, there are 1,100 of them across the state of New Jersey, and it's over 55,000 jobs. Okay, this is a significant industry. Number one. Number two, I would welcome any of you to just go visit one of the fitness centers in your community and see what they have done and the investment that they have made in order to safeguard their members. It is extraordinary what they have done by way of social distance and putting up barriers. And number three, you can only come in when you make your appointment to come in. Okay, this is part of their best practices. So from a contact tracing, you're going to know exactly when someone comes in and exactly when they leave, and they can schedule, therefore they can control. And this is something very important in the business community. The business community can control the flow of traffic and activity in their business premise. You don't do that in social settings. And where have the spikes been coming from? The spikes have been coming from uncontrolled parties in places where nobody has control of the situation. In our restaurants and in our health clubs, they can control the coming and going of the population. And then just the last piece on fitness centers also is that all the other states, including New York, as you said, now we're really becoming an extreme outlier in this space. We really need, for the mental health of New Jersey residents, we just saw, we have some stats and reports, and it's in the New Jersey Business Coalition framework document that you all have. Mental health is on an unprecedented rise in the state of New Jersey today. Violence is up, addiction is up. The statistics are sobering when you see what is going on from a mental health perspective in the state. How do people mitigate and alleviate that? One thing is to get physical fitness. All right. And as we go into the fall and it gets colder in New Jersey, that walk or run outside isn't going to be enough. Right. But number two, how do you mitigate mental health issues? You get people back to routine and some sense of normalcy. All right. And you make them feel good and productive in what they do. When they have a job to go to, when they can go for a workout, they are feeling productive. And that is a mitigant to the mental health crisis we have going on in the state of New Jersey.
Assemblyman, I just want to follow up on what Michelle just stated, which is—
We have Christina first. Hey, Christina.
Thank you, Chairman. Which is New Jersey being an outlier. And that is such a key point that Michelle just made, especially here in South Jersey. The fitness centers, gyms, and previously, before the industries opened, nail salons, hair salons, all of that. And just now, while we've been in this committee hearing, and Mary Lou will testify themselves, but Philadelphia just within the last hour announced indoor dining starts the day after Labor Day. So as New Jersey remains an outlier, you mean to tell me the people, the businesses, the residents of New Jersey aren't going to drive across the bridge to have an indoor dining experience in Philadelphia? They are going to do that. Before nail salons and hair salons opened, I knew numerous people that took road trips to Delaware to have that done. So the outlier conversation is important in the larger theme of overall economic activity that we are losing just tremendously out of New Jersey to our neighboring states with no real explanation or rationalization as to why. So I just wanted to follow up on that point.
Okay, Tom Bracken.
Yeah, one final thing, Mr. Chairman. I go back to my testimony, and what I said in my testimony was the governor 3 times a week, formerly 5 times a week, keeps praising the citizens of New Jersey for getting our medical numbers down to where they are, and thanks them profusely every single time he has a press conference. Now he's basically saying that he does not trust those same people who have worked so hard to get where we are to provide that same diligence and same discipline by getting an opportunity to eat indoors or go to health clubs. I mean, by definition, a person who wants to go to a health club is concerned about their fitness, both mental and physical. So they want to get physically fit, and I do not believe that those people, after all the hard work they've done, will put themselves at risk any more than they have in the past. And by just following what they've done in the past, this whole situation of escalating the COVID curve, I think, is absolutely unfounded.
Thank you, Tom.